President Obama has less than 2 weeks in office, and the Republican-led Congress is already preparing to undo his signature domestic legislative achievement, the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare.
On Friday, the president discussed the law's future in an interview with Vox.com, an online news magazine, including what he told President-elect Donald Trump in their first meeting after the election.
Make your team and make the Republican members of Congress come up with things that they can show will actually make this work better for people. And if they're convincing, I think you would find that there are a lot of Democrats out there, including me, that'd be prepared to support it.
Sarah Kliff was one of two journalists who participated in that interview. She's a senior editor at Vox.com, focusing on health care policy. Sarah, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How concerned is the president about the future of his Affordable Care Act?
I think he is quite concerned. I mean, Republicans have spent 6 years promising to repeal the Affordable Care Act. They're in office. It is their first priority. They said they want to move very quickly, so when President-elect Donald Trump gets to Washington, they can send something to his desk. I think he should be quite worried. In our interview, he really expressed a lot of the concerns about the Republicans' approach, this repeal and delay idea they have to pass a plan, come up with their replacement a few years later. He is quite concerned about the future of this, like you said, this legislative achievement that's really a landmark of his administration.
What does he see as maybe the best case scenario?
I think the best case scenario, which is not very realistic at this point, is that Republicans will pick out the very specific parts of the law they don't like, and they'll work together with Democrats to fix those. But we've seen that's not really what Republicans are looking at, right? They want to repeal it. They want to start over. They want this political victory of saying, look, we repealed Obamacare and replaced it with something we think is better.
The healthcare industry at large is against this repeal, and now some Republican senators are getting cautious about this. I mean, what do you see happening here?
I think Republicans are finding it is much harder to end a program that covers 20 million people than they would like, that it is quite a challenge to end insurance for all these people. And you're already starting to see on Capitol Hill some fractures among Republicans, just like we saw with Democrats when they were debating the health care law in 2009 and 2010. There was a lot of infighting in the party about what provisions do we include, how do we draft this law. Now the Republicans are in charge. It's a lot easier to be against something than it is to actually repeal it, change it, replace it. So we're seeing the exact kind of infighting in the party. It really feels like, for me, I covered the 2009 effort, like deja vu all over again, except the parties have switched places.
You know, you talk about so many people that potentially could lose health care. Do we have any sense of what may happen if they do repeal?
So a lot of people likely would lose health care. We're expecting right now about 20 million people have coverage through the law. And if the law were ended, not replaced with anything, those 20 million people, they would lose their health insurance coverage. If there was a replacement plan, I've looked at a lot of the Republican replacements. They do cover some people, but not as many as the Affordable Care Act. So we're still talking about millions losing coverage. We don't know exactly how many.
Big battle still to come. Sarah Kliff, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.